Tennessee at Alabama. Um, so we got two teams here that I feel like these are not great offenses, obviously, right? Um, definite two different offenses. Tennessee, I'm really impressed with their offensive line and their running backs this year, right? I mean that they're a pretty daggum good running team, and can have shown the ability to run the ball on very good defenses, and I think that that's something that's going to continue today or on Saturday, excuse me. But um, is Alabama going to be able to run the ball on this Tennessee defense? That's kind of a that's kind of a catch for me on this one, and something that I've been kind of sifting over today as I've been thinking about these matchups. Um, look, I see Alabama as about a touchdown favorite here. I don't see them 9.5. I
Yeah.
think that number's a little bit high, and I don't know that I'm going to actually bet this one, but I will tell you this: I'm going to, as of right now, and I reserve the right to change my pick between now and Friday. But right now, I like Tennessee in those 9.5 points because I think this is going to be a really low scoring game. And for there to almost be a double digit favorite in a game where there's going to be so little points to go around, I just don't see that. And everybody this week has been telling and talking about how good Alabama's been at home. Did I miss something, or was that game last week not just at home?
Wasn't it also the Texas game at home?
Texas game was at home. So I've heard that 3 times this week already. I heard it on CBS today.
Hmm.
The big eye in the sky, right?
Yeah.
What are y'all talking about? They beat Arkansas by 3 at home last week. So look, Alabama is a it's a different situation, obviously, than we've had in the last few years. I don't think this offensive line is great. Jace McClellan, I think, is average. I think he's an average running back, and I think when he's paired up with this very average offensive line that Alabama has rolled out there this year, I think that it makes him a below average. It makes him appear as below average. Um, he's in a tough situation there, and this is going to be tough sledding for Tennessee. And both of these teams have to be able to run the ball to do anything. Um, so I look for Tennessee to figure out a way to be able to run the ball this weekend and keep this game within the 9.5. Let's go into the numbers, and you tell me what you think about these two teams and this matchup.
Well, I tend to agree with you. I think it's a little bit odd though. Like the way that these two teams match up, I don't know. I keep going back and forth on exactly who I like in this game, and it's just tough for me because I've seen Alabama face a similar defense in Texas A&M, and they weren't able to run the ball. Um, they ran the ball for what 30 yards in that game.
You're talking about Alabama?
Yeah, Alabama. Yeah,
Yeah, they had a
Alabama
really hard time.
against Texas A&M. I mean, they just could not run the ball. So, but they were able to figure it out, and they were able to go over the top. Um, I was pretty impressed with Jalen Milroe in that game, and he in the first half at least against Arkansas, he was able to tap into some of that again. But the second half, things just really fell apart for Alabama as a whole. Um, but when you look at the numbers and you break these two down, so really on defense, you're looking at the same team, right? There's not a whole lot separating these two teams on defense. They do a lot of similar things. I would say, Alabama has probably, without really pulling their schedules up and looking side by side, they've probably had a tougher schedule with Texas on their schedule already. So maybe their resume looks a little bit better, and on defense you give them a slight edge. But ultimately, I think that the two defenses have been pretty similar, and I've been really impressed with Tennessee and their defense. We've in the offseason, we really thought that this was going to be another bad defense for Tennessee, and they've been pretty dang good. They're one of the best in the SEC really this year, and that's that's really impressive to me for a Josh Heupel team to have such a good defense at this point. And then you get to the offensive side of the ball, and you're absolutely right. They've been very effective at rushing the football. That's the best sort of unit in this game is the rushing attack for Tennessee. Bar none. I mean, they've been the most effective. And what Tennessee wants to do is spread you out, right? They play this spread style of offense. Then they run it up the middle. They try to get you out of the box, and it works a lot of times. I wonder if Alabama may have a little bit more discipline on defense and be able to play a little bit more man on the outside and keep the box filled more than some other teams, just having better dudes, and that could cause some issues in the running game. But we saw Tennessee do it against Texas A&M. Texas A&M's got some dudes too, so they, like you said, they've been able to rush against some of the better defenses in the conference and in the country. And I could see that continuing. The fact that this is a 9.5 point spread is just, man, I think that Vegas knows something, and certainly they seem to always know something, but I think that a lot of the public wants to bet Tennessee, which makes me want to fade that and go Alabama to win by at least 10, maybe 14. Um, and the other thing that brings me to that thought is because Tennessee, they really scored like 14 points. We mentioned it last night on special teams, in their game against Texas A&M, and had they not had those special team points go their way, and I say 14 points, it was a punt return for a touchdown and a punt return down to the 1 yard line, which they got a touchdown. So about 14 points. Had they not gotten that, they would have lost to Texas A&M, and they would have scored 6 points on offense. So that gives me a little bit of pause for Tennessee. If you didn't watch the game, you'd probably be leaning towards Tennessee to not only cover but maybe even win the game, and that makes me wonder if that's
Well,
where Vegas's
the
mindset
the
is.
money is actually coming in on Bama. So
Is that
this
right?
this started off the public perception is, even though Tennessee was good last year and beat Alabama, that's not what the bettors are remembering. The bettors just see that script A, and that's the problem.
Hmm.
Alabama, and it's just like the AP top 25. That, I mean, let's be real. Alabama gets ranked based on the fact that they've got that script A and Nick Saban is the head coach, and whatever, that's fine. I don't even pay attention to AP, but um, the money. So this thing started at like 7.5, like last week, and so the money has come in on Alabama to
Hmm.
tick it up to 9.5. That's why I say I'm fading the public on this
Interesting. That's really surprising, actually. I guess there's a bunch of casual fans who are
one.
going in
That's
heavy
exactly
on
right.
Alabama, but
People bet on this game, dude, because it's the third Saturday in October.
yeah, yeah,
And they don't. I swear to God, they don't do any research or anything like that. They want to bet on the game, and because it's like a tradition type game and
yeah,
it's a rivalry game. And
yeah,
don't listen. You'll never go broke betting on the stupidity of the public. I mean, I'm just
yeah,
that's like an old saying, and you know these lines are created to make money, and if people pour in on Alabama, they're going to tick that line up, man, and they're going to try to get more people to take Tennessee, and I'm gonna take them at their word on that one. I'm gonna take Tennessee, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was
oh, you're good.
just letting you know that that is the way that it's moving, and I know that's the opposite of what you would think, but
Right.
like you said, it's casuals, man. It's casuals.
It has to be, and that's really unfortunate for them. They're obviously not paying attention to first and long, and
That's
they should
why
be.
you've got to pay attention right here, because if you
That's
don't,
right.
you could be one of those dumbasses.
But so I'll end with my pick here. I do think that Alabama wins this game. Um, I don't. I'm gonna wait. Tune in on Friday, and I will have a pick for this game. I am gonna bet this game because I don't like to leave the fans hanging. I do like the under 48. I
Where are
may
you
lean
leaning
into
right
this.
now
Right now, I'm leaning Alabama wins the game. I don't
to
know if
cut
they
and
cover.
covering?
I don't think they'll cover,
Yeah.
but I think that they win the game. I want to see Tennessee score more when they get in the red zone. I think that's been kind of an issue.
They're not going to.
Yeah, they're 86.21% scoring in the red zone, and that gives me a little bit of pause. You can run the ball all the way down the field, but if you're not able to punch it in past the 25-yard line, then it doesn't really do much, and you can't field goal your way into a win against even this Alabama team. So the under, I think, could likely hit at 48. But
speaking of field goal, I think Alabama could win this by a field goal at the very end.
Yeah,
I don't think this is going to be. I don't think this is going to be a high scoring affair. I think this is going to be a field position game. I think that Tennessee has the advantage in the ability to run the football, and I don't think Alabama is going to be able to do much. Listen, Milroe is going to be on the run all day. Tennessee is going to be after Milroe, big time. So this offensive line has not shown the ability to protect him. They have not, and I fully suspect that he will be on the run. Therefore, his eyes are not going to be downfield on Jermaine Burton, and that's the only hope that Alabama has is Jermaine Burton and hitting a deep ball every once in a while, and they're not going to be able to do it. The difference, I think, between Alabama against A&M and Alabama against Tennessee is Tennessee's actually going to be able to move the ball and get first downs and play keep away. Texas A&M was not able to do that.
Yeah.